So imagine you're totally healthy, you exercise, you eat well, you manage your stress, and somebody comes and says that you carry too much weight, you're overweight. Do you need to lose weight? Do you need to make any changes to your lifestyle whatsoever? So, again, I like to present this from two different perspectives, from traditional Western medicine and maybe from my own health coaching perspective. So, welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Ashori. And here I talk about healthy aging, get you from your 30s and 40s well into your 60s and 70s with as little disease as possible. Healthy aging is about understanding all of the information that's put out there. And some of this information can at times be a little bit biased. It's not to say that medications don't work. It's not to say that Western medicine is bad. But the idea that somebody who is healthy, who has a low risk for something bad, and that if they just lost some extra weight, they would have an even better health outcome, it's misguided for a few reasons. Number one, the risk that you have for a certain disease comes from the fact that you're doing things that are unhealthy. Risk develops from um, our physiology not functioning the way that it should, creating some damage, some irreparable damage. And from that, we develop a medical condition. Western medicine is based on medical conditions. For example, obesity-related sleep apnea, obesity-related joint pain, obesity-related inflammation, obesity-related cancer. Yes, there are associations with these things. Absolutely, not denying that. But these associations exist because we capture a few people who are overweight, then we lower their weight and we see an improvement. Of course, if you take somebody who's perfect by every metric and they carry extra weight, if you lower their weight, you absolutely can prove that there is still some improved outcome that they'll have. The problem is that it's so minuscule and you made such a big change in this person's life that not only did they lose the quality of life, but they probably also dismissed something else that's much more important. For example, maybe they stopped socializing with their friends because now they're really obsessed about losing more weight. So you traded one thing off for another. With all of this, what advice would I have? If your body mass index is 25, 26, 27, 28, right? These are body mass indexes that Western medicine considers problematic. If it's in that range, ask yourself this. Are you getting enough activity, movement, exercise? What's your nutrition like? Do you feel like you're eating well? And eating well is very, very subjective. From your perspective, do you think you're eating well? How's your stress level? And then maybe on a kind of like a fourth level, fifth level, what are some biomarkers, some blood tests, a bone density test, a DEXA scan? What are these things showing? Are they showing that you carry a lot of visceral fat? Are they showing is your blood test showing a lot of inflammation? If those things are happening, if you come to me as a health coach, the questions I would ask is, well, what things could be improved? Where is inflammation likely coming from? It's probably not coming from obesity. Obesity itself is not going to cause, by the way, it's 25 is overweight. BMI above 30 is obesity. Being obese, being overweight, that's not going to create inflammation. Chances are it's the activities, the choices in life, the lifestyle decisions that have led to some of this inflammation. So my goal would be to try to change those habits, to try to identify one or two things that we can make a change in, and then measure the biomarkers. Did they change? Are you better? Because if you are, then again, it negates the need to go and lose a bunch of weight. When you lose weight, you also lose muscle mass. When you lose weight, you also lose bone density. So it's never just one thing or another. And that's why it's important to keep the person in mind. Now, in my own Western medical practice and my clinical practice, if somebody comes in and they carry extra weight, the answer is simple because Western medicine is still kind of algorithmic. We have to make our decisions based on the guidelines that are out there. No physician can independently practice and say what they like based on their own information. That is not professional. But in my health coaching practice, it's very different because I understand the nuances health decisions, and there isn't just one decision begets another decision. And so what's most important to me is that my client feels good in their body and that we minimize their overall risk long term. So, a few actionable things you can take away from this: if you're exercising, if you're eating well, if your stress level is good, maybe check a few biomarkers with your physician, with your wonderful physician who cares about you. See what your DEXA scan shows. Do you have enough muscle mass? Do you have excess visceral fat? You can check that even with blood tests. Is your ALT a little bit high? Is your fasting insulin, your fasting blood sugar a little bit high? Is your triglyceride a little bit high? Is your HDL a little bit too low? Those might be markers for some insulin resistance, some visceral fat. You can check inflammatory markers, uric acid, homocysteine, CRP, ESR. None of these are accurate. None of these are perfect, but they can guide you. They can point you in the right direction. And maybe if you make some small changes based on those and they move in the right direction, those results, that's a great thing. That's a great feeling. And you can feel good about yourself. But if I was a little bit overweight, even up to the body mass index of 30, 32, but I feel like I'm pretty good, like overall feeling healthy and doing the right lifestyle choices, I wouldn't worry too much. I probably would just keep doing what I'm doing as long as I understand what the minuscule risks might be. Hope this is of value to you guys. Check out drashori.com for more information. Thanks for tuning in.